Hello folks and welcome to the EV Lease Deals of the month for September 2023. A few familiar characters at the start of this one, which I'm going to whiz through, and then we've got a few cars coming up that we've seen probably never before or very rarely before. There are some really good deals around at the moment, so keep watching. As always, please use the link in the video description to LeaseLoco if you're interested in any of these. I can't do these without it. And they're all 3 months up front, 3-year deals on 10,000 miles a year. Let's crack on. So there are three here that I'm really going to blast through. We've got the Renault Zoe 849 up front, 283 a month. We've seen this one so many times that I'm not going to go through all the details again, but as you can see, it's a really good price. Average price on it's been 419, currently 283 with 849 up front. And it's got a decent range, 238 miles of range. Next one's the Ora Funky Cat, still deals around on these, 900 up front, 300 a month. Again, these were over 600 a month really not too long ago. And then the Corsa E 100 kilowatt ultimate, 222 miles of range, 959 up front and 319 a month. And the average on that says 511 because of the peak here where it's 700 quid. But for most of the year, it's been about 380, currently 319. Now, the Cupra Born. I don't think we've seen one of these on a Lease Deals of the Month video before. I could be wrong. 150 kilowatt V1, 58 kilowatt hour automatic, obviously. 235 miles of range, 204 brake horsepower, 385 litres of boot space, insurance group 25, 1163 up front and 387 a month. And this one's in stock. If you were to factory order one of these, it would cost you about 80 quid a month more than getting this one that's in stock. 0-62 in 7.3 seconds. And look at this. At its peak, 537 quid. That was back in November. In July, it was 478. And in fact, just a couple of weeks ago, it was 459. Currently, 387 with 1163 up front, and that compares against an average of 433. The Cupra Born's a cool little car. If you like the idea of an ID3 but want something a little bit funkier, this is the way to go. Next, we've got the BYD Atto 3. And while we're here, I'm going to give a shout out to BYD Southwest down in Exeter, who hosted me this week. I got to go and review the BYD Dolphin, which will be appearing on Men and Motors soon. 150 kilowatt design, 60 kilowatt hour, 261 miles of range, 204 brake horsepower, 555 litres of boot space, insurance group 41. While I was at BYD Southwest, a couple came in to have a look at the Atto 3 and they were really surprised by it. Really surprised, and I think a lot of people will be because they are very well put together. BYD, obviously one of the largest car manufacturers in the world. In fact, last year they were the biggest car manufacturer in the world. £1,156 up front and 385 a month. And this one's in stock. 0-62 in 7.3 seconds. And look at this. I mean, this is crazy. Back in the 1st of May, it was 760 quid a month. And then for quite a period there, £660 a month. Currently 385 with 1156 up front. That's come down £374 a month. Isn't that bananas? Whilst the exterior styling's not particularly sort of groundbreaking, the interior is very cool. And you've got this screen here that you can flip from landscape to portrait in the touch of a button. And they're very well screwed together. Nice car. Next, we've got the Skoda Enyak. This is the IV Coupe, but we will see the normal Enyak in a sec as well. Very little in the price in between them, to be fair. This one's 1,396 up front and 465 a month. 8.5 seconds to 62 in this one. Average price on it's been 616 quid a month. And look at this, in January, 768 a month. And then for a long period here, it's been floating around about 590 to 610 a month in that sort of region. And now 465 with just 1,400 up front. That is a very good value car. Let's look at the numbers on it. Range is 345 miles, 204 horsepower, insurance group 26, which is pretty decent for an EV, especially one of this size. And 570 litres of boot space. As I said, 8.5 seconds to 62. It's a lot of car for that much money, in fairness. If you want the standard Enyak, that gets you 339 miles of range and 585 litres of boot space. You can get one of those for 1,400 up front and 468 a month, and that compares against 582 as the average, currently 468. So again, a really good saving over the average, but that coupe version it seems like especially good value at the moment. Next, we've got the Toyota BZ4X, the sister, you could say identical twin sister to the Subaru Solterra. 1,485 up front and 495 a month. 380 miles of range, 204 horsepower, insurance group 35, 452 litres of boot space, and 0 to 62 in 7.5 seconds. And look at the pricing on this. It's been bananas. So back in November, 800 quid a month. In January, 877 a month. In April, 821 a month. And then it dropped a long way down here. Look, we got to 550, then up to 587. Currently, the cheapest price we've ever seen it. In fact, the first time I've seen it under 500 quid. 495 a month with 1,485 up front. Next, we've got a Nissan Aria. Bizarre experience with this for me this week. I've got one sitting on the drive at the moment that's probably going any minute now. It was delivered yesterday. I drove the delivery driver down to Bournemouth station and I came back in it again. And then I got a call from Nissan saying there's an issue with the paperwork and they've got to come and pick it up. So there you go. But in the brief spell I've driven that car, I was really surprised by it. Like, I've literally driven it for 20 minutes, folks. But it's really nice. The initial impression is it's really nice. And the interior is quite interesting. I haven't put it through its paces yet. I will be getting one in for a full review probably in the next few weeks. But yeah, just thought I'd mention that was a really surprising car for me because I was expecting something a little bit meh, and initial impressions are very, very good. 160 kilowatt engaged, 63 kilowatt hour, 251 miles of range, 217 horsepower, insurance group 31, 466 litres of boot space, 1,587 up front and 527 a month. This one is a factory order. 0 to 62 on its 7.5 seconds. In June, it was 656 quid a month. Then it dropped down a bit in July to around about 616, 615. Then we've seen it here around about the 530 mark in recent times. Currently 529 with 1,587 up front compared to an average of 592. Not bad. Next, we've got the ID.5 Style Pro Performance. This one's 1,600 up front and 541 a month. This one's in stock. So this is one of those deals you'll need to jump on quickly because you'll know sometimes a lot of urgency is required. 0 to 62 in 8.4. Average price on it's been 642. At its peak in October, 742. 741 in Feb. Then for quite a long period, it's about 630 quid. Currently 541 with 1,624 up front. So if you look at that, it's currently 100 quid a month less than the average. Then we've got the Audi e-tron 300 kilowatt 55 quattro 95 kilowatt hour black edition, 2,451 up front and 817 a month, and it's in stock. The black edition is top of the shop in terms of the trim level on one of these. 5.7 seconds to 62, 249 miles of range, 408 brake horsepower, 660 litres of boot space, and insurance group 48. And let's have a look at the pricing on this because it's fairly staggering. Average price on it's been £1,000 a month. Yes, £1,000. As I said, this is the top trim level in one of these things. In October, 1,135 a month. In December, 1,183 a month. Just 4th of September, look, over £1,000 a month, nearly £1,100 a month. Currently 817 with 2,451 up front. 817 quid is a hell of a lot of money to spend per month on a car. However, for some people, you know, they would be looking at one of these at 1,100 quid a month. And if you are one of those people, you can currently save yourself the best part of £300 a month on it. Remember, it is in stock. Remember, it will go incredibly quickly. So get on it now. As always, folks, this video is sponsored by Car2 Cover. You can get hold of Car2 Cover on 01438 870 615. They're absolute experts in gap insurance, scratch and dent insurance, alloy wheel insurance, all these kind of things. Things that are often sold by car dealerships at grossly inflated prices. They really do offer you a bit of value and some expert advice. They are specialist brokers in these sort of ancillary products. So give Car2 Cover a try. Just go to car2cover.co.uk, get your quote online. If you give them a ring then and say Jim10, they'll give you £10 off anything you see online. And if you take more than one kind of cover out with them, they'll give you a multi-policy discount, which is great. Please also use that link to LeaseLoco. You know how important it is. We need to keep these lights on in here. Thanks ever so much for watching this one. Please let me know what you think the best deal is in there and which one takes your fancy. Please like the video, please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. This video is sponsored by Car2 Cover, the gap insurance experts. Visit their website for an instant online quotation and use the code JIM10 to get £10 off your purchase.